So, hey guys, today I suppose it's time that we prove to the world that Shining Sarc is pretty viable. So, something has changed, and that something is Knightmare Goblin. And this changes, I would boldly say, everything. So, I think the appropriate ratios are probably something like 3 copies of Future Silence, and then, I don't know, the copies for Turn Silence, maybe like 1 or 2. And then probably grab Silent Magician 0, I'm thinking. And if you grab Silent Magician 0 here, we should grab potentially Ties That Bind. Actually, it doesn't matter. We don't need Ties That Bind. Okay, we're good. So with these guys, we then grab 2 copies of Gandra G, and this is now our Shining Sarc package. So now, if we have, well, as of recording this, still not legal, but Knightmare Goblin, because this exists, now we have a pretty nice option here. So what we can do is, if we normal summon the Gadget Trio, we can then add Shining Sarc to add the Gandra G, special summon Gandra G, and then we can make Knightmare Goblin, send, we can discard a card, get our extra normal summon, and then we can make our play from here. So we have that if we really need to. If we want to activate Gandra G effect, we will be able to special summon either a Gadget Trio or a Silent Magician 0 from our deck. And then we can potentially make a Knightmare Goblin. So this immediately does not seem that crazy, but this is mostly so we can get access to Gandra G's effect, which allows us to pop some cards, you know, and also banish them. And because we're playing a Knightmare here, I mean, we'd be pretty sick in the head to do this, but we can then throw in Knightmare Mermaid, and then Knightmare Mermaid to summon a Nightmare monster from our deck. And in this case, we'll be summoning probably like a Orcust Nightmare, and then we can go into Galatea and start doing like a full Orcust combo from here. And we can probably play like a minimized version of the Orcust combo. And the reason we would do this is that we'd be able to, whenever we activate Gandra G, we can protect our cards, like just all of our cards in general, with the effect of Dingirsu, so that we're only wiping out our opponent's board here. So that is pretty gnarly, and we could maybe run some Viscerals as well to kind of try to build up some advantage back with Branded Regain, because we're going to be discarding a lot of cards. But we could be discarding Orcust cards to go even further with the Nightmare cards potentially. So that's the general idea I have here for Shining Sarc, and I mean that's just the general idea. We won't be building the full list today. I might build like a full Shining Sarc Orcust list, like 3 support, if you guys really want to see it. But yeah, that's just one idea that makes Knightmare Goblin in my head, like it sounds pretty damn good. Because even if we don't open all of this stuff and go crazy, we have Activate Shining Sarc, Gander effect, and every single activation here does not take our normal summon, and it's fairly generic, doesn't lock us into anything, and it threatens a full board wipe on our opponent, which I think is pretty nasty. And the form of removal here is pretty good. It's not able to remove something like a Dragoon. Like, even if our opponent doesn't activate any cards, can't really destroy Dragoon. But I guess we do have Dingirsu to do that for us, so we get there eventually. But alright. Let's look for something else that we can do with the Nightmare cards. So, let's see. With the Nightmare cards, this is any 2 monsters with different names, so any deck where we're doing some link climbing shenanigans, we can make the Goblin, but the discard is actually pretty costly. So if we wanted to play this with something like the Summon Sorceress, I don't think we're really able to abuse this because this is going to require us to special summon a monster from our hand, and we'll have to do a discard. So, not 100% sure when Knightmare Goblin is super popping off, but I know one situation where it's popping off in my heart of hearts. Normal summon Alistair, baby. We normal summon Alistair, and then we have some other special summon that we did. I don't really care how. Make Knightmare Goblin. Normal summon Alistair again. It's not hard once per turn. And also, I guess with Ninja, same deal. We can normal summon like Hanzo, but again, not really sure when that comes up. So, if it does, we sure do get to normal summon Hanzo again. Also, fun fact about Hanzo while we're here. Did you know that Hanzo does not, like the effect to search does not activate? If this card is set and you just attack Hanzo, the effect to add is not, this effect is not going to trigger because it says specifically when this card is more or less flip summoned. So flip or special summoned. So that means it's not when this card is flipped, it's when this card is flip summoned. Yeah, if that makes sense. So Hanzo doesn't trigger. What a piece of trash card. So just for example, if we had Book of Tayo and Book of Moon and we just kept using that on Hanzo, it would not trigger. And also that means that flipping a monster back face up and face down, that is not flip summoning, so that does not count as a summon. But if I recall, flip summoning does count for Nibiru, I think, maybe? Let's check if Nibiru says anything about that. If your opponent normals or special summons 5 or more monsters this turn. Okay, it doesn't count. Flip summons just don't count for Nibiru. Alright, good to know. But if you pendulum summon 5 guys, that counts for Nibiru. So that's me getting sidetracked a little bit there, but yeah, alright. If we think about it, any 2 cards is kind of like if we get any 2 like monsters on the field, we can pretty much just go into Orcust lines off of Mermaid. But the downside is if we just look at the basic Orcust package, with Mermaid we would need like 2 copies of Galatea and then 1 copy of Dingirsu, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here. I think that's like as minimalistic as we can go, and then maybe like 1 copy of Knightmare, 1 copy of Heart, 1 copy of Girsu, and then we'll need like 1 of either Babel or Crescendo, I guess. And then 1 copy of Simple Skeleton, and I think maybe World Wand. I think you can cut 1 of these between World Wand or Simple Skeleton, but I guess in this case, the card we would cut might be the World Wand. I would have to go through the whole line to check if this is actually cuttable or not. But let's for now assume it isn't. That's 6 cards in the main deck that we have to kind of be playing. But these 5 cards specifically are not going to be bricks. This isn't a brick either. This is actually kind of useful for playing around pistols, turning these guys into a quick effect. So if we just activate this early, that's actually not really problematic. It also plays around DD Crow because these guys all vanish for cost and not for effect, so not that bad to open this. Except we won't have a search target for Galatea, but we'll probably need to Galatea effect to recycle some cards for later. So that's generally how that goes. And then, yeah, I think we're pretty solid here. So that's 5 cards, leaving us with 10 extra deck cards that we can do whatever with. And if we wanted to go a little bit further, because we still do have, like, I think we have plays, we can also make Verte in this line, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure if we have enough material, but I'll just assume that we do for the time being. We might be able to Verte, and then whatever Verte target we have, that's going to be another guy, if we want to be doing that. And then it's a few more Garnets, I suppose. But this time actual Garnets. So we have that option. And Hmm. I'm not sure if this is like that cracked or not, but let's see. If we do this, Nightmare Mermaid summons Nightmare, summon Galatea, and this can send the Harp. Harp summons Girsu. Girsu sends the World Wand. Then we have to summon back Nightmare. Okay, we actually need all of these guys, I think, yeah. And then next turn, the Nightmare sends the Symbol Skeleton. Then you and Symbol Skeleton to summon back Dingirsu. That happens next turn? Yeah. Okay. I think, do we run out of targets to use here? Maybe. Not 100% sure. When exactly do we need a normal summon? I think there was some card that required normal summon to actually trigger, and it only triggers on normal and doesn't trigger on special summon. I guess those type of cards will be more abusable with Goblin around. Not really 100% sure when we can use Goblin that effectively, because the discard a card is not nothing. So when exactly will we be able to add something to discard for free? Oh wait, with a Soul Day we can do that pretty for free, because we can just add a pretty worthless warrior that we can't do anything with for whatever reason, and then we can just toss that with the Goblin, I suppose. So with a Soul Day lines, I can see this being like used in that way to trigger like certain normal summon guys. I don't remember if any of the Noble Knights only triggered on normal summon or something. I don't remember. I think there might be one, at least. But alright. Something that triggers only on the normal summon. Nothing is really coming to mind right now. Something that you can't special summon. The World Legacy cards, maybe? In this phase, have normal summon that card. Then use the field you and special summon 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck. I mean, there's that effect. Nothing coming to mind. Oh, right. The Knightmare Apprentice line we were talking about during that other video. So, I mean, the discard's kind of costly, but with this, if I recall correctly, as long as we don't summon the level 5 guy with in Chimera Fusion, we don't actually get locked. So if we're ready to massacre our hand with the Knightmare Apprentice discard and then the Goblin discard, so that's discard 2. Yeah, just discard 2. That would give us the normal summon for the Mirror Sword Knight that we would be able to do. If we play this as a 2-card combo, I guess that would work, and we can potentially make like Beatrice, do hand loops, and other silly nonsense. In fact, this is also actually a Fiend, which is good because if we look at the Chimera cards, right, Cure, this guy requires a Beast monster plus 1 Fiend monster. So if we use this guy to extra normal summon the copy of Gazelle, Beast, Fiend, and then we can make the copy of this guy here. These guys are also beasts, so depending on how we play it, you could technically also make where is it? Blindness is kicking in here. This one. Baphomet, the mythical king of fan beasts. We could technically do this one first, using like Knightmare Apprentice plus the copy of whatchamacallit, the Baphomet, I think, right? No, Gazelle. We can use the Gazelle plus the Knightmare Apprentice to make Baphomet, add back the fusion, and then do Chimera, the king of fan beasts. Or actually, we can make this first and then go into this guy, I guess, potentially. Depends on exactly like how we made Knightmare Goblin, I suppose, but that line has some potential, so I might look into this later. But also yeah, we would need to run this guy, which is a UR. So we'll have to consider how expensive this deck is overall later, but still sounds pretty good in general. And we'll have to look at how the new cards also interact with these guys, if in case I'm like missing some possible synergies. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys for now. And I'll see you guys in the next video. But real quick before we end the video, if you guys have any deck ideas or suggestions that we can do with these new cards, I might take a look at them in another video. So feel free to leave the decks in the comments below. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.